I think this may be a good time to move on now. What we're actually going to do is now sort of move on the conversation to talk a bit about trying to get a women back into it. Actually, we've got Rhiannon here, who's a colleague of Mark at E2W. And Rhiannon, I know that you've got a fantastic story about your journey from a very, very sort of senior position in the city to then leaving and then coming back into it. I don't know if, Rhiannon, you'd like to just sort of, we'll have a quick chat, shall we, a quick two-way, but if you'd just like to sort of a brief synopsis.
Yeah, very briefly. Hi everybody, my name's Rhiannon Bowler. I started out my career working in HR. Worked in the city with the likes of the wonderful lawyers that Jonathan mentioned at Linklaters, Levels, S.J. Berwin, also professional services, Accenture, Rosanne Hamilton, I was the UK HR manager. Had a great career. I worked hard, played hard, absolutely loved it. Met my husband, had children. Had my children late, I was 39, so I wanted to get my career under my belt. I decided to take time out to actually have a career break. That career break lasted for 9 years. I knew I couldn't go back to the city. There were no part-time flexible working roles in HR, particularly around the client-facing environments. You could not do a part-time role in those environments. The lawyers couldn't. They found it very difficult. The support staff also found it equally as difficult. I live in the Tunbridge Wells area. While my children were very young, I did a Master's in Career Management and Counselling at Birkbeck, a remote degree. With that degree, I set up my own coaching company. So I'm one of these motivated, self-aware people who know what they want to do and find a way to actually try and get that done. Through that research and coaching girls or students coming out of university and making career choices, through to women wanting to get into the workplace, through that research I came across Mark at E2W, called him up, said we should talk. We did. He offered me a job. I was attracted to that job because it was 9:30 to 2:30, 5 days a week initially, and I was a bit flipped out about the thought of working August with no local support at all and elderly in-laws. So I could not support looking after the children for that August period, and so I didn't work August. So I was able to find a role and have those discussions with Mark, and the model was already in his business of professional working women who worked in the area around West Kent and Mid Kent, who wanted to work, to Susanna's point, we want to work, we are professional. And at times I'll do emails in the evening, I'll pick up calls on a Friday when I don't work anymore. But it's about being flexible, it's about communicating, it's about working together to get the job done. It's about the output, it's about productivity. There are so many mums on the school gate who are film producers, they are change managers, they are lawyers. They don't want to work full time. They want to have that balance. And I appreciate that some women do want to go back to full-time and can do it and can get nannies and can get back to home at 6 o'clock in the evening. A lot of women can't. In this area, particularly where I live in Tunbridge Wells, a lot of partners work in London. They're out the door at 6:30 in the morning, they're not back till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Somebody wants to be there. We have a family, you want to be there for them. My children are 11 and 8. I love them to pieces. I want to be there for them, but also I want to continue to my career. I've just hit 50, so I'm one of these statistics now of women working in their 50s. And I'm showing my children that you can work and you can be professional and you can continue that career. But I challenge the businesses. I did a bit of research before coming along today, out of interest, in the Kent area, how many part-time, how many full-time, how many jobs out there that are part-time or working flexibly in my previous area of HR or career development or career coaching that I'm now doing? None. I couldn't find one job that would suit what I want to do in the way that I want to continue to work. I found that quite worrying.
I'd be very interested to hear, what do you think then employers are missing out? I mean, you're an incredibly capable, talented person who's come back into work. There's countless other people like yourself who, you've created that career for yourself and found ways to work. What is business losing out on at the moment by not making itself open to career women like yourself?
I think there are opportunities that when a position comes available, either through somebody leaving or through growth of the company, to really challenge themselves to look at the structure of that job. Not just the task that they want to do on an everyday basis that's a 5-day role. What is the output? What are you requiring of that position? How can that position be fulfilled? Could it be done 3 days a week? Could it be done by 2 working women? Or not even women, 2 working people who communicate well and organise their time together, who are able and willing to work in the evenings if they need to by talking to each other and have a job share role. It doesn't have to be done by one person. But the structure of the workplace, traditionally you think it's a full-time role, it's 5 days a week, it's 35 hours. Now, with my HR background and working in law firms, the amount of part-time requests that I was trying to manage, convincing partners that these very capable women could come back to the workplace, they did not like to agree to those part-time working hours. And those women who did do it and say maybe do a condensed week or work 4 hours, they actually worked more than that. They worked 40 hours and still managed it at home. And as a HR person who's very principled, I found that very difficult to manage. So I think businesses, if a role becomes available, really the challenge is to sit down, how can it be done differently? Where's the source of women out there that could do this role? Looking at transferable skills, not the box of this is a finance manager, this is a payroll clerk, this is whatever the role of the title is. What are the core skills? What are the transferable skills that this role requires? Let's think differently. Let's think out of the box. And I think that the creativity that Jonathan has at Outset, I think is fantastic, because it's actually challenging yourself to think outside the constraints of the organisation structure that is there. With a young growing company, it's probably easier that it's evolving organically. With a more typically a structure of a company that has been around for a long time, it's challenging that, and it's actually rethinking the roles. And if you do that, there'll be a source of women, particularly out there, who want to come back to work, who want to take the kids to school, who maybe want to be able to pick them up at 3:30, but then continue working in the evening. But it's actually about thinking outside the box. It's about actually throwing away the old job specs and rethinking it in terms of capability, output, productivity, and the traits that Jonathan has at Outset, the motivation, the self-awareness, the drive, the passion. And once you get that, you can then start communicating. Women typically aren't confident about asking. As a career coach, I'm coaching a lot of women at the moment for coming back to the workplace, looking for more professional roles. They don't like asking for things. It's about connecting, and Suzanne's actually hit the nail on the head on how we talk and listen differently. But I think it's actually about challenging ourselves to think differently and think outside the box. I've got a management consulting background as well, so I'm very good at thinking on the outside the edge of the envelope.
Rhiannon, it's been fantastic hearing from you. Thank you so much, and we'll keep drawing you in, I'm sure, at various points later.